G'day and welcome to Unico Desde 1979. Beautiful day here in Sydney. Didn't want to be indoors or surrounded by coffee bean bags this time around. Thought it's too much of a marvellous day to be sitting inside. Blue skies, perfect weather for cigars as well, no wind as well. Now today, something with an Australian story, with an Australian angle today. I'm going to be reviewing the new Nicoya cigars. There's a Nicoya Medios, which is the red one, and the Fuerte, which is this purple one. And I've had both already, both great sticks. But today I'm going to be reviewing the Fuerte, or the purple band. I'll include a bit more information about the history of the brand, person behind it in a moment. But there is a great Australian link to this cigar. So let's get into it anyway. The Nicoya cigar, probably slightly, I wouldn't call it sort of a Maduro or Oscuro shaped wrapper, or coloured wrapper I should say. Probably slightly darker from the Colorado. Don't know how it's picking up on the screen, but it probably is a touch lighter than what you're seeing on the screen at the moment. And yeah, let's give it a go anyway. Was thoroughly impressed. First time I had these, I had one of each last week. But yeah, let's light it up and see how she goes. Cuts very well, and you can see wrapper is impeccable. Few slight tiny veins, nothing standing out too much. Quite impressive to look at. Light this bad boy up. From the start, an intense white pepper note really hits you. Very strong start. Really in your face. As you can tell, I had a bit of a puff and a suck on it then. But yeah, very intense to start with. Previously, that's settled down a little bit. I'm sure it'll be the same for this one I'm having today. But yeah, very strong pepper, white pepper in your face. Good start. Lets you know you're alive. Anyway, bit of information, I guess I should say, about the background of these cigars. Gerard Hayes, over in Perth, long-time cigar fan, obviously wanted to be involved in the cigar industry. It's the best industry in the world, as we all know. He approached AJ Fernandez, the AJ Fernandez team, and said, look, I want you to put a blend together for me, 2 styles, etc. Obviously they came on board. AJ Fernandez seems like everything he touches these days turns to gold. Probably, pound for pound, one of the best cigar makers in the world at the moment, producing so many great cigars. So Gerard Hayes has done well to get on board with his team and produce these cigars Nicoya. Now the word Nicoya is a slang term, a slang Nicaraguan term for somebody from Nicaragua. I wrote a short piece about Nicoya cigars for Cigar Journal about a month ago, prior to their launch at the IPCPR, and basically Nicoya means somebody from Nicaragua. It's their slang term, so it's a bit like calling me an Aussie. If somebody's from Nicaragua, you call them a Nicoya. And Gerard Hayes called it Nicoya to obviously pay a bit of tribute to the people from Nicaragua who, made his dream come true, literally. Who invested all of their time and experience and expertise into developing these cigars for Gerard. So nice little story behind the brand, and obviously giving a bit of information about why the word Nicoya is used as a brand name. And you can hear a few buses going past me in the background. Might look like bush behind me. Looks very nice, serene, very natural. However, there is a 4-lane motorway just behind those trees. That's why there's a bit of traffic noise. But besides that, fantastic outlook for a cigar. Anyway, might have another puff. Cheers. Still got loads of that sort of strong white pepper and spice. I'd probably call it white pepper rather than spice. Just a really in your face, but hopefully it flattens out soon, because it did. The first one I had last week did well, and fantastic smoke. Expecting the same from this one. Now the red, I'm not going to have the red today. This is the Medios, or the medium-bodied style from Nicoya. Strong cigar in terms of its, the final composition, I guess, not in terms of bodiedness or anything like that. Some of the notes I took down previously for the red. Let me get my notes out. It had a dry pepper start, similar to the red, but I actually noticed it had a light floral aroma as well, and also some lemon notes creeping in. Towards the last third, the pepper picked up, and it had sort of a lemony lime aroma. No, I wasn't drinking lemongrass tea or anything like that to give me that impression. They're the flavours I picked up, but still thoroughly good cigar. What impressed me most about this though was the ash. Some of the widest ash I've ever seen, or at least seen for a very, very long time, and very, very firm. Only sort of, I knocked it off about halfway through. If the ash was any indication, it gives you an idea of how great the cigar is. So construction was impeccable, draw was perfect. So check these ones out. Can highly recommend them. I'd classify it as a light to medium bodied cigar, but definitely one to check out. If you are on Instagram, you can follow Gerard and Nicoya Cigars. Their handle is @CigarsNicoya, so not Nicoya Cigars, it's Cigars Nicoya. Follow him online. You can see a lot of his pics from the recent IPCPR. He's got some fantastic pics up there. Had a great time, and obviously introducing his cigars to the American market. Obviously, boutique production. I'm not sure how many boxes he's got. I think he had about 30 or 40 boxes made for an initial run. But hopefully, if the cigar market wants to pick up something with a little bit of a different story, with an Australian angle, Australia, Aussies and Nicoyas getting together to produce something remarkable, then hopefully this is a great success for Gerard. Welcome back. Enjoying the Nicoya so far. That initial white pepper has died down quite a lot. If you've been watching from the beginning, you would have seen that there was that intense white pepper that sort of woke me up quite a bit. That's settled down quite nicely, which is good. And coming into a sort of a nutty creaminess flavour profile. You can tell from the smoke it's thick and rich, which is always great to see. See that ash forming very, very nicely. Burning pretty well so far. There's a bit of an edge there, but I'm sure that'll sort itself out in a moment. If it doesn't, I will. But yeah, going well so far. It's a Habano Ecuador, and the filler and binder, it's a Nicaraguan Puro. Contains tobacco from Esteli, but also Ometepe, and producing a really, I'd call it a medium to full-bodied cigar at the moment. Initially after that sort of first blast that came through, but yeah, it's settling down now. A lot of nuttiness and creaminess coming through, which is really enjoyable. Thought I'd share some of the information that Gerard relayed to me for the short story I put together for Cigar Journal, their online magazine. Obviously they publish 4 times a year, but they also have obviously a lot of short news, product announcements, new lounges, etc. up on cigarjournal.co. This is what Gerard wrote to me, or this is what Gerard sent to me in terms of that story. Hayes' love affair with cigars started as a young boy, smelling the cigar aroma coming from his father's study, and his fascination with cigar boxes, cutters and lighters. This long-term passion led to him creating Nicoya Cigars, which is produced by AJ Fernandez, as I mentioned before. And Gerard says, Nicaragua is, I believe, leading the cigar world with its constant innovation, which is coupled with traditions that go back over 50 years. He noted that he had a real synergy with the award-winning manufacturer, and AJ's team welcomed him into their family. And as I mentioned before, the term used for the people of Nicaragua, Nicoya, was chosen as the brand name to pay homage to the people that made Hayes' vision possible. Now, the initial blends, we've got the Medios and the Fuertes. They both come in a 5x52 Robusto, and been created for the discerning cigar lover, according to Gerard, which of course they are. All cigar lovers are discerning, I would argue. And just to finish off, Gerard notes that the medium-bodied blend is wrapped in a Habano Ecuador Rosado, so that's the Nicoya Red, and contains viso leaf from the Jalapa region, which gives it a bit of sweetness. That might also be behind that sort of lemony lime flavour and aroma that I picked up. And the fuller-bodied blend, which I'm enjoying right now, wrapped in the Habano Ecuador, and contains viso leaf from the island of Ometepe. So yeah, quite an interesting story behind Gerard Hayes' Nicoya Cigars. Still a bit of that white pepper evident, but yeah, it's settled down somewhat. Nutty creaminess is still there. Coming into that second half, some of the notes that I wrote down last time, picked up a sweet dark rum flavour. Haven't picked that up yet on this cigar, but I'm sure it's going to be coming through soon. And almost like a rum and raisin flavour. Rum and raisin ice cream is very popular. I wouldn't call it rum and raisin ice cream, but definitely there is some of that sweet rum flavour coupled with a bit of the fruitiness, raisin, dried fruit. So I'm sure I'll pick that up in a moment, but that's what I got from the initial review that I did before recording this video. Now of the Nicoya cigars, the Fuertes, 5x52 Robusto. So far that initial pepper and spice has died down. Notes of some nuttiness coming through, creaminess, smoke is thick and rich, which is great. And now I'm starting to pick up some of that rum, sort of dried fruit aroma coming through. I said rum and raisin previously, that's what sprung to mind the other day. I'd argue the same again. And definitely an aged rum sort of profile. I'm thinking, Mount Gay, Diplomaticos, Zacapa, have one of those to pair with it, and I think you'd be in seventh heaven in terms of a pairing, because it's definitely taking on that sort of the sweeter, more mature, dark-aged rum flavour profile. Approaching the last third of this Nicoya cigars, that rum and raisin flavour profile that sort of was evident in that middle third slightly disappeared. I'd probably say the rum notes have tapered off somewhat, but it's definitely taking on, still maintaining some slight sweetness, which is really good to see. And obviously the pepperiness has come through, and it's a creamy pepper, sweet creamy pepper, I guess you'd call it, flavour and aromas coming through, which is really enjoyable. Really impressive cigar. Thoroughly enamoured with the Nicoya Cigars Fuerte. As I said before, I tried the red and the purple brands, the purple being the Fuertes, the red being the Medios. I'd probably, if I had to choose, I'd definitely choose this one. Just a stronger flavour profile, suits my palate a little bit more, but both thoroughly impressive. Great effort from Gerard Hayes in creating his first cigar brand available to the market. Thoroughly impressive. Grab some if you can. You can hit up Gerard through Facebook, jump online. He's on Instagram at Cigars Nicoya. Get in touch with him if you're interested in this brand. Obviously great to have an Australian angle. There's quite a few Australians involved in the cigar scene at the moment. Obviously Jason Nelson behind the Dictador Cigars brand, working with the Dictador brand to produce some phenomenal cigars. And now Gerard Hayes getting in on the act. Great to see Australia, I guess, punching above its weight, I guess, in terms of the international global cigar market, producing cigars and bringing them to market. Thoroughly impressed with this cigar. It goes really well. I've just got a coffee right now, but I definitely want to try a few more with a rum. I think it would make a great pairing. It would obviously highlight some of that sweetness, that aged rum characteristics that I picked up previously, and otherwise really solid smoke. Draw was perfect. Haven't had to touch this up at all, so the burn rate is very, very good. Strong ash as well, as you can see. Thoroughly impressive. Well done to Gerard. Good work, mate. Love your work, son. Go out and get some Nicoya cigars. Can't go wrong, especially with the purple, I guess you'd call it, the Fuerte, in a Robusto. Love to see a few line extensions. I'm not sure what's in the plans in terms of Nicoya cigars, but definitely he's done a great job. Well done, Gerard. Nicoya Cigars, honouring the people of Nicaragua. Well done. Cheers.